a billionaire who calls women fat broads and horse-faced lesbians. And no, I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg.
It was a flat-out verbal brawl during the NBC News MSNBC Democratic debate in Vegas on Wednesday. Former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg on the debate stage for the first time, and he was trying to deflect some big blows. Bloomberg's campaign now looking to regroup. And joining me now, longtime journalist, author, and now the senior campaign advisor for Mike Bloomberg. Tim O'Brien is here. How are you, sir?
Wonderful.
Well, you're a busy man these days, and I want to start with this because a lot of pundits out there said flat-out loser last night for Michael Bloomberg, and meaning Wednesday night during the debates. The report card you would grade him on.
Mike Bloomberg has never been a flat-out loser. You know, we're still in people's communities. The polls are still strong, but behind Mike, I don't think debates often move polls. There's another debate coming up. Mike can and will do better, and we're confident that he will.
So you agree he needs to do better?
He definitely needs to do better.
Was he nervous, you think?
I think, I would say he was rusty. I would say he's like a boxer coming out of the corner for the first time in a while and not being as practiced on it as some of the other people on the stage. I think you saw as the debate went on, Mike really got his sea legs, and I think he was much clearer and more purposeful, which is where we always want him.
You're watching this unfold, and I'm assuming you were grimacing when Elizabeth Warren came out with horse-faced lesbians and, quote, fat broads. Did Mike Bloomberg ever say these things? We're trying to fact check
Mike Bloomberg has repeatedly denied saying the statements that have been attributed to him in the context, however, of saying anything he would ever say that would offend any woman. He would regret. Mike has a very long track record of empowering women on our campaign. A lot of the senior positions are run by women. Bloomberg Philanthropies is entirely run by women at the very top. Mike's deputy mayor, when he was the mayor of New York, was Patty Harris.
So where does she get that from?
Well, there was a gag book written by other men that was given to him 30 years ago as a birthday present, and there's been a lot of lines pulled out of that book and attributed to Mike as things that he said, which he has denied saying again and again. There's also been this issue of, there's all these sexual harassment suits filed against Mike. The lion's share of those are sexual harassment suits filed against Bloomberg LP, the corporate entity, and not Mike personally. And there's been a lot of headlines saying he's been the subject of these suits.
He said a bad joke though, and maybe some. Well, I think what he said.
Well, I think what he meant is, if he has ever said an off-color joke that offends women, he regrets it.
Stop and frisk. This has been obviously a big topic for a lot of the mainstream media when it came out. He's apologized for it, but was there a sense of panic here when this did come out amongst the campaign?
No, I mean, I think talking about stop and frisk is important. First and foremost, Mike needs to apologize for stop and frisk. It's a stain on his record. It traumatized members of communities of color in New York City, and Mike stood by it for too long. However, it doesn't define the totality of his time as mayor, which is why we have so many people of color, current and former mayors, members of Congress, supporting his campaign because they know everything that he did for communities of color when he was mayor. Diversified the NYPD, had the most progressive immigration policy of any big city in the country, had a model outreach program to young people of color in the city of New York that Barack Obama saw as a model program for urban outreach to vulnerable youths.
I want to ask you another comment that has sort of come back to haunt him a little bit here. He said, quote, "I could teach anybody to be a farmer. It's a process. You dig a hole, you put a seed in, you put dirt on top, you add water, up comes corn."
Wow, now, you guys are so easy to play. Let's rewind here. Let's rewind here.
Okay.
That's also like he was going to have a box at the debate. In both of these cases, the box at the debate and the comments about the farmer the box with the debate never happened. Donald Trump lied about that to Sean Hannity. It got in the media bloodstream. This issue with farmers is an edited video that took the comment out of context, and he was talking about farmers thousands of years ago. He was not talking about current members of our agricultural community.
But still, do you think, even though it's out of context, as you say, Is it still hurting him, you think,
No,
among the farming community?
No, because you know what? The farming community knows that Mike Bloomberg is the most successful businessman on the planet right now and in this campaign, and he has always done outreach to working people. Donald Trump has repeatedly broken promises to farmers. That's the reason why his campaign's putting a doctored video out there. Mike knows that people who are hurting in this economy need a hand up from the government to get skilled. Education, job training, and that's what he meant when he's talking about the farming community.
I got just about 60 seconds here. I want to get to a couple things really quick.
Okay.
Hillary Clinton in a Drudge report was saying, was rumored to be a running.
Now?
Oh, I'm just asking. Yes, you're the senior campaign advisor. That she may be a running mate. She has flat out said no. Any truth to it, though?
I think it would be a privilege for us to look at really high qualified vice presidential running mates. Right now we're focused on winning the primary.
Tax returns, thousands of pages he's going to release. When is it going to be released? What's it going to say?
We want to release Mike's tax returns as quickly as possible. We are going to be the polar opposite of Donald Trump in this campaign. There will be no doubt in voters' minds that Mike Bloomberg has any financial conflicts when he goes into the White House. We want to set a different standard around this vis-a-vis Donald Trump.
Is California make and break? Super Tuesday coming up. Is that the make or break? A lot of pundits say it is if he does not win in California.
We're already polling extremely well in California. We intend to continue. This issue of not caring about farmers. I've been in Modesto and Fresno talking to farmers and agricultural workers. We're the only campaign that has multiple offices in those locations because we care about working Californians and we care about California voters who really are focused right now on bread and butter issues that we can deliver on. Affordable housing, the climate crisis, better jobs, better education, and affordable health care.
Mr. O'Brien,
thank you, my friend.
There. And by the way, I do enjoy the Twitter between Mr. Bloomberg and the president.
It'll go on.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Up next, the state of the state. Governor Newsom declaring war against homelessness and issues a warning to cities and counties.